Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I have my 5+ year review of my Gerber Dime multi-tool. I don't actually remember when I got this multi-tool, it's been that long ago, but I've used it pretty frequently, so let's dive right in and I'll show you everything you need to know about this keychain multi-tool. So first up, we'll do our typical size comparison and measurements. So measurements, as you can see, including the bottle opener, it's about a little over 2.5 inches. It's about 3/4 of an inch in width, and then for its thickness, it's about, just say, 1/2 inch. So size comparisons, we have the Nightcore Tiny 2, the Benchmade Bug Out, and finally, the Leatherman Charge Plus. And then just for fun, we'll throw in the SOG, get this out of the way, the SOG Mac V. Alright, so let's cover the exterior tools. So first off, you have a standard knife. This knife is, I believe it's 440 HC, so nothing special, but no, sorry, it's stainless steel. It's all stainless steel. This entire multi-tool is stainless steel. So, I mean, that's fine. It works. It is a slip joint knife, so there is no locking capability on it. But for a keychain tool, that's fine. You get a halfway decent pair of scissors. You'll have to excuse mine, they're a little sticky now after all this use. But again, unlike Leatherman, well, Leatherman's keychain stuff is all slip joint as well, so. Here you have a little flathead screwdriver, could be a pry bar as well, but definitely don't recommend it. But it's there. Here you have a 2-sided file. You know, you can use it for nails and such, and then you have what they call their crosshead, which is like a Phillips head screwdriver. Just fold him back in. Then finally you have this interesting tool. They call this the box opener. So essentially what you do is you stick it in a box and it cuts it without damaging the inside packaging. So I'm actually going to test this on this video today, and we're going to see how useful this tool really is, because I haven't used this tool much. Normally I just use, the knife, so we're going to see how useful this tool is. And then you have, bottle opener. It actually works pretty well for a bottle opener. Although, if you're going to carry it in your pocket, it'll sometimes jab you. And I personally wish it wasn't there because I almost never open bottles, and it pokes me in the pocket more than I'd like. And then finally, right here above the Gerber logo, probably the most useful tool, is actually a halfway decent set of tweezers. And again, they're just tension fit in there like everything else, so, you kind of just gotta line them up and slide them in, but, I mean, they don't come out. And then obviously you have your little keyring loop. This is an extra keyring that did not come with the tool. So, talking about the final tool, well, I guess they call it 3 tools. It's needle nose pliers. They are spring pliers, which is nice. You have wire cutters on the inside, which unfortunately are basically now useless because they are not sharp anymore. So that's kind of a bummer, but I wish they were replaceable, but for this size, what do you expect? And then also you have, they call it the regular pliers there. But that's pretty much all the tools on this Gerber Dime, so let's move into the next part of the review. Oh, and then it's butterfly fold. So, just like any other multi-tool. You just, well, see if I can do it one-handed here. Open it like one, and then push down the other end. There's your spring. Alright, so covering the usefulness of this tool. The screwdrivers on this are actually pretty useful, especially the flathead one for doing things like the screws and switch plates. It's actually really good for that, which you wouldn't necessarily think. The knife, it's okay. I mean, it guts. That's about all you can ask for. It's something this size. The scissors, they work well enough. I mean, it's what you can expect from scissors. The bottle opener, like I said, it works, but I do wish that it wasn't here because it can tend to jab you in your pocket a little bit, and it can, like, it'll catch on the key ring sometimes and it'll get stuck, but it's all right. And then the pliers are my favorite part. It's the reason I carry this and not a Swiss Army knife, or yeah, like a Swiss Army Victorinox. And that's because, you know, like picking up little things like, say, some of these itty bitty screws, which are really hard to get with fingers, or like if you want to get a really good hold on something round, the pliers work really great for that. So that's why I carry this tools, really, for the pliers and the couple other features that come with it. But, you know, you drop it in your pocket and it pretty much disappears. It weighs almost nothing. And the final thing that's worth mentioning that I like to talk about the usefulness of the tools, is these tweezers. So these tweezers are probably one of my favorite aspects. They can pull out splinters, they can grab really tiny screws, you know, like, say for example, this little piece of cotton right here. If you get it right, it picks it up. So the only thing I'm not a big fan about with these is they don't have any grooves on the inside to help them grab. So they're not the greatest at grabbing things, but, you know, splinters are the big thing that I use them for, and it's really helpful to have them for splinters. You can also use the plier head for bigger splinters, but for the little tiny guys, nothing beats a good set of tweezers like these. So you might ask, well, how do I carry this tool? I carry it on my keychain. I have two separate keychains, one for my vehicle keys and one for my house keys, you know, shop keys, all that stuff. So this is what that goes on, because I don't always have my vehicle keys on me, but I always have my house keys on me. So that's where this goes. And you know what? For just being a little tool to have with you, it's way more functional than something like the Mac V from SOG, because it's thick and it's light, but it's not like the heaviest thing. So it works well for being a little keychain tool. And having outside access tools is a really big point over the Leatherman's all inside access tools at this size. All right, so let's talk about the most important, or at least one of the most important parts about this tool and about tools in general, and that's durability. So as you can see, a lot of the anodizing has worn off. You can still see that it was definitely green and black, but I mean, is worn. You can see around the Dime logo, there's like nicks and chips from where it's been dropped on stuff and it's hit stuff. But, you know, the coating is just the coating. It's gonna do that no matter what. The one thing that I have a problem with this tool is, if you can see, doesn't always happen, but like you'll close the pliers and it's just slightly off center. So I have actually bent the chassis on these pliers. Don't know how I did that. Probably doing something I wasn't supposed to do, but it's there and it happened. I've tried to bend it back and I cannot, but I think honestly that it still functions fine and it'll still grab things and do everything you need it to do. So for a relatively cheap multi-tool, it's okay, but I do wish these wouldn't have bent like that. All the other tools, you know, the knife and all that, they've held up just fine. Nothing really special to say about them. I've actually never lost the tweezers in this. They always stay in there, so that's pretty nice. I only ever had one instance where they almost fell out, and that's when they pulled out in my pocket, so definitely do be careful of that, but I wouldn't make it too big of a concern. This is actually still a in-production multi-tool as well, so if you lose a tweezer, you can easily get a replacement set. But yeah, overall it's been pretty durable. Nothing really to report outside of the plier head bending a little bit, but it's a pretty good multi-tool for the price. Alright, so for the only testing I'm going to do for this tool, I'm going to use the box opener. The reason I'm not going to do any other testing is because at this point I've seen enough about this multi-tool, and I would hope from the wearing on the coating and me saying I've had this rubber 5 years, you guys would see that it's durable. I mean, what more can you ask for 5 years of testing and wear on the coating like this? Like, you can see this has been carried for many, many days. So the only thing I'm going to do, like I said previously, is I'm going to test this box opener. Here I have the trusty granola bar box. The bottom side is closed with the typical glue that you'll find on these boxes, and the top side is taped. So there's going to be 2 levels to see how the box opener will go through these 2. So let's get right to that. Alright, so first up, we're going to start with the side that's just glued. I've got my box opener here. So it didn't really do much with that, whereas if I break out the knife, which isn't all that sharp, this would be something you just open with your hands normally, but it'll do it. But back to the box opener, because maybe this is made for tape. So let's see. I'm going to kind of dig into it with the tip a little bit. Try not to get the cardboard though. Okay, that's promising. Oh, yeah. Do you know what? That's not half bad. It almost like just rolled the tape over itself, and that's definitely a clean enough opening that I would say that's a pass. So this definitely shines on tape, but I'm actually pretty impressed with that. It just kind of slid it open. Now, this probably isn't the best representation either, because this one's old and worn out, but a new one would probably do even better than this, so keep that in mind as well. So let's talk about like location of use. So this is definitely just a light use EDC multi-tool keychain tool. Definitely not something that you're going to heavy use like a Leatherman Charge, and definitely no replacement for this either. This is a completely different beast. This right here is definitely light use. However, as you can see with the plier head, I definitely hard used it and it held up. I mean, I've pulled nails with this thing. If you can pretty much imagine, I've done it with this tool. It's been through a lot in the 5+ years I've owned it. So, I mean, if you're gonna get one of these, I'd say carry it every day, you know? They're durable, they're light. If you lose it, it's not that super big of a deal because it's not as expensive as something like this. So, nor is it anywhere near as heavy. I mean, this thing is a lot bigger than this. So if you're not gonna need this, then this might be a great minimalist option for you. Okay, so it looks like from where I'm seeing online, you can pick this up from anywhere from $24 to $30. So for that price, this is a great tool. I mean, it's cheaper than any Leatherman alternative out there. You can, do anything with it. It's actually, with its outside access tools, arguably even more functional than a Leatherman as it is, because, it's just a little easier to be able to just outside access a tool and not have to open the multi-tool, pull a tool out, and then close it to use it. So maybe in that regard, it's a little easier to use, a little faster. So considering that this tool has lasted me 5+ years and I spent no more than $30 on it, and it's held up as well as it has, it's definitely worth the price. It's definitely something I'm going to have for another 5-10 years, provided I don't lose it, which I haven't yet. But I mean, as long as it stays durable and that plier head doesn't bend anymore, I don't see anything wrong with this tool. I mean, this is still in as good as condition as it was when it was new, minus the coating wear and maybe like a little bit of stickiness in the tools, but that just needs to be lubed. But other than that, I mean, this tool has held up fantastically, and for $30, it's pretty hard to beat. Alright, thank you for watching. And if you guys want to see more awesome multi-tool, knife, flashlight content, and all things EDC related, check out my channel down below.